Being owned by a pet brings immeasurable joy every day, until it doesn't. Until that time when your pet tells you he's ready to move on. His mortal body has gone as far as it can go. The pain and anguish associated with his final journey cannot be adequately described, especially when you're faced with having to make that decision that effectively is going to end his life. In this video, I'll offer you a roadmap for that decision. I use 3 main factors to determine a pet's quality of life. So 2 normal mainstream ones that everyone uses, pain and illness. And then a third, less mainstream, but in my opinion, equally important one. At the end of the video, we'll briefly go through a snapshot of what to expect on the day of his appointment, as well as sharing some personal experiences that I've had during my 39 years in practice, and how those experiences have shaped my beliefs on animal spirituality. Hi, welcome to the channel. I'm Vanessa, and I'm a small animal veterinarian in practice in the UK. One of the most frequent questions I've been asked over the years is, how will I know when it's time? The glib answer is, well, when your pet's quality of life is unacceptably poor. Sounds easy. It doesn't really help though, does it? It doesn't give you the nuts and bolts. And without those, the whole thing falls apart. There are 3 main factors, as I said before, that I believe will cause a pet's quality of life to become terminally poor. And those are uncontrollable pain, irreversible loss of function, and that third one, severe mental anguish. Of these 3, the first 2 can be evaluated fairly easily with freely available quality of life scoring systems you can find anywhere on the internet. But the last one is the hardest to navigate, because there's no objective scoring system for it. And, sadly, it's also the one most often associated with those nasty feelings of guilt. Don't worry, we'll go through exactly what to look for so you can make that decision without the added burden of that guilt. So let's get into the important stuff. How will your pet communicate to you that his body or brain is no longer a suitable vessel for his little soul? So if you've got an ill or elderly pet, or infirm pet, can't move properly, a quality of life questionnaire is a really good tool to use. There's plenty available online, but I'll put a transcript of the one that I've compiled in the comments below. In my one, I ask you to answer each of 10 questions every day for as long as it takes to see a trend. Each question basically you answer with a rating between 1 and 5, 1 being really lousy and 5 being normal. Normal being no change to the way he's always been. And that's the key. We're looking for changes, not absolutes. How different is he from how he's always behaved? A picky eater who's still a picky eater is going to be a 5 for question 1, for instance. But a greedy guts who's now a picky eater, maybe a 2 or 3. So I'm not going to go through every question in detail. It's going to take forever. But take a look at it after the video. Print, screenshot it, whatever. Use it with pleasure. It's simpler than a lot of the ones online, but I've kind of based it on what I ask and look for in my consulting room. Whether the cause of your pet's distress is pain or illness, it's likely to result in him saying the same things to you in the same way. Things like his appetite decreasing, not wanting or being able to get up and walk around, his bones sticking out. Those things are fairly easy to spot. The more subtle ones, panting more, that's a sign of pain. Not being able to settle down comfortably for a snooze anymore, also a sign of pain. For me though, my question 10 is the most valuable one of all. What does your gut feel say? No one knows your pet as well as you do. And if your gut is telling you something is wrong, chances are damn good that you're right. Our animals are able to communicate with us in ways we cannot hope to understand. So don't ever be afraid to listen to your instincts. Trust them And when you come to see me or go to see your vet, tell me or your vet about them. It's important. We will listen. Now onto that really difficult third factor, mental anguish. A mental anguish would eventually contribute to loss of quality of life due to both pain and illness if we let it go on for long enough. And I believe that no animal should ever have to suffer mental anguish caused by physical pain or illness. It can also be a huge burden on an otherwise physically healthy animal. And it's been my fervent wish for many years that humans would stop underestimating its impact. Mental health in humans is at last being given the validation it was denied for hundreds of years. Why not in our pets? They have minds, personalities, challenges the same as we have. They just can't express them verbally. Their only way to express mental anguish is through what science calls aberrant behavior. Now remember here that not all mental challenges animals face can be classified as anguish. Many of them can be remedied, some of them even avoided completely with kindness, positive training. So speak to your vet or your vet nurse if your pet is dealing with that kind of mental health challenge. With the right help, so many of these little ones can conquer those challenges. Sometimes though, no amount of socialization or training can turn a mentally anguished pet into a happy little person. They're just too damaged. And usually, unfortunately, humans have been the ones who have inflicted that damage, but not always. That's a topic for another day. The big question is, how do we recognize these poor tortured little souls? So we've got two clear red flags that answer that question for us. The first red flag, that's the animal whose only coping mechanism is aggression. The dog who bites first, asks questions afterwards. That dog's inevitably a mentally tormented soul. And the second red flag is what we would call being irreversibly shut down. A dog or a cat who just can't cope with their environment, or who descend into mindless terror at the merest hint of the proximity of humans, no matter how much we may try to engage them. These mentally anguished animals are, in my experience, the most heartbreaking cases. And they're also the ones that cause the most guilt to their owners. And you know why? It's because no one has ever said to those owners that mental anguish is just as valid a form of suffering for an animal as physical pain or disease. There is no shame in an owner making a considered, responsible, quality of life decision for their pet based on the pet's mental health. It can be the ultimate kindness for an irreparably damaged little soul. And again, if you're not sure, take a video of your pet's reactions. Come speak to us. No one's going to judge you. It's real. Mental health problems in animals exist. And the animal does not understand why. What if your pet is able to hide their pain or illness so well that it is for all practical purposes invisible? It happens more often than you think, especially in cats. There's no one-size-fits-all formula for a pet's behavior when that happens. But I reckon a good place to start looking for guidance is by going back and looking at the behavior of infirm, ill, or injured wild animals. And one trait that seems to crop up every time is the instinct to remove themselves from their herd, pride, pack, whatever, when they sense the end is close. So the clever people who study such things seem to think it's a kind of self-sacrifice. A weak or old animal will be a predator magnet, which would place the rest of the pack, especially the younger members, under threat. So they choose to leave the sanctuary of the group themselves in order to safeguard the rest of the pack or herd members. I've had so many pet owners coming into me with terminally ill pets saying, "It's strange, she's fine, but she started hiding under the bed or the sofa all the time." Or, he's never wandered before, but he disappeared for 3 days, and when we found him, he looked really bad. So often these tough little people give no prior indication whatsoever that anything's amiss. But that tendency to separate themselves from their families is a huge clue that all is not well. I've lost count in the number of animals that are just coming for a checkup because we just think something's wrong. He's hiding away. And we find hidden illnesses that have reached the point of no recovery. Your pet is instinctively doing all they can to save you, their family, their herd, their pride, from distress or danger by removing themselves when they feel their time is close. So let's go through what happens on the day of the appointment. Once that tough decision has been made, certainly in our practice, and I think in most veterinary practices, we'll do everything possible to make the process as peaceful and stress-free as possible. For some families, a home visit by the vet and a nurse is going to be the best option. For others, coming into the practice is a better way to separate the loss from the home environment. There's no right or wrong here. Each situation, each family is unique, and that's absolutely fine. The only part where the pet may actually feel something is when we place the intravenous cannula, the same as having a blood test. And we in any case use an anesthetic spray, so even that part is made as pain-free as possible. If the pet is stressed or is in pain, we'll give him a sedative or a pain management injection first to make him as comfortable and relaxed as possible. The decision to be with your pet or not can be very emotionally charged. It's yours to make, and you will not be judged no matter what you decide. Just a word here on so-called natural death. In a perfect world, both humans and our pets would be able to pass away peacefully at home in their sleep. The reality, though, is that this seldom happens. Natural death is usually slow, protracted, and painful for both humans and animals. Humans have the advantage of hospitals, morphine drips, hospices, round-the-clock nursing care. Animals not so much. Please, please do not believe that natural death at home is always a peaceful, pain-free experience. There is nothing peaceful and pain-free about being unable to breathe. Intense pain, seizures, debilitating muscle spasms. All of these are common occurrences during natural death. We're in the fortunate position that we can save our pets from having to endure the terror of a slow, agonizing natural death. We're not yet able to save each other from that same horrific fate. But perhaps one day in the not too distant future we'll be able to. Over my career, I've been able to help many pets embark on their final journey. I've noticed some things that seem to happen almost every time. Basically, the injection is a massive dose of an anesthetic agent. So it would be logical to expect the reaction of your animal to be identical to going under general anesthesia, wouldn't it? But it's not. In almost every pet, there seems to be a split second when the pet, even a sedated pet, appears to become extremely aware and to react to something he's experiencing. Whether he sees it, smells it, hears it, feels it, I don't know. Sometimes it's just the focusing of their eyes. More often than not, it's accompanied by a little wag of the tail and the tensing of their muscles as if they're jumping up or preparing to jump up onto something. My belief, and this is based on nothing more than my own observations and my own probably fallible human interpretation of those observations, is that they're seeing somewhere to go and they are so excited to be going there. I believe that animals are pure, untainted souls that leave behind the spent mortal vessels that no longer serve them, so that they can move on to the next phase of their existence. There's no doubt that they leave holes the size of the Titanic in our hearts when they go. But equally, there's no doubt in my mind that they live on somewhere else when they leave. And you have a right, no, you have a need to grieve the loss of your pet in the same way as you would grieve the loss of any family member. No platitude can take away that heartache. But if you follow the guidelines laid out in this video, you will be able to at least take some comfort from knowing that you have made a decision for your beloved pet that proves how great a pet parent you are. That proves that you cared enough to put your pet's needs before your own. To make sure that your pet did not have to suffer pain or anguish, be it physical or mental, for one day too many. And for that, I thank you. On behalf of all the thousands of pets that, because of owners like you, have been afforded the chance of a pain-free, peaceful ascent to wait for you at that beautiful rainbow bridge. Thanks so much for your time. If you enjoyed this video, consider dropping a like. I'd be really keen to hear about your own experiences of your pets, end-of-life decisions you've made, anything that you would like help with or would like to speak to me about. Just drop a comment and I do my best to answer all of them. And if you like this content and you're interested in seeing a bit more, hit a subscribe and there'll be more coming up. Until then, I'll catch you in the next one.